We're here with a new episode. We're reviewing Mulan. We'll talk about it. It's going to be a spoiler talk. We'll be honest. I mean, if you haven't seen the animated film, go see
What are
the
you doing?
animated film.
Yeah, what are you
I don't
doing?
know. It's on Disney Plus too, and you don't have to pay for it. Watch that first, then come and see if Mulan is worth its money.
Mhm.
Uh, just to quickly point out what our thoughts are: is it worth the $30?
Me personally, no. I think you should wait till December 4th when it's gonna go live for everyone on who has Disney Plus. So that's me personally. I would just wait till then. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. I think is this film a film that you might want to watch? I think so, but I think $30 for it. If you have a bunch of people who are going to watch it on your account, sure you can do it, but I think you can just wait until December. I wouldn't have been in any rush to see this movie at the movie theater, so I think you can wait until December.
Yeah.
Uh, But now we're going to go and kind of talk about our thoughts on the movie. There will be spoilers if you haven't seen the actual movie Milan. I mean, go watch it. But here we go.
I think we should also acknowledge that me and Henry are looking at this as just like we're analyzing this on a pure like film basis. I know we are both aware of a lot of the crazy behind the scenes stuff that's been widely reported in the news. And I know that has been hanging over the new film like a dark cloud, but um I don't know. We are aware of it, but right now we're just looking at this on the basis of a film, and trying not to um yeah.
Yeah, separating the art from the artist, I
Mhm.
think. Um, and I think it's important for this film. We'll talk a little bit at the end about how it compares to the animated film, but as we review it, we're taking the film on its own.
Yeah.
And on its own merits, I think it succeeds and fails in a lot of different places.
That's
There,
basically that's basically that's basically a good summary.
yeah, I think this is a movie that has so much potential in it, and I feel like it doesn't quite hit that mark. That it's frustrating at times.
Mhm.
I think Mulan as a character is her character arc, much like the Captain Marvel character arc. Actually, when I think about it, is they're so powerful at the beginning, or there's such a clear show
Yeah.
demonstration of power that at the end, it's like, well, she could do that the whole time.
Yeah.
And so I think it kind of because the second act is where a lot of films struggle. I think that's where this film really struggles, and it struggles because of that.
I
Because I
think
don't feel like there's an arc for
yeah.
that.
The problem also too is like, and I know we literally just said like we wouldn't be using the animated film as a comparison, but like nowhere in the animated film and nowhere, at least to my knowledge, of the original actual like legend of Mulan did they mention giving her the chi like force or whatever. I was very caught off guard when they were like when her father was explaining it to her, and also just because, and I think that definitely didn't help matters just because it was never clearly explained like I thought you like during the final battle I thought she was gonna start like like using the force and stuff, like bringing like building like I don't know like whatever, bring structures down with her hands or whatever. Just because like I was like, is this just helping her fight faster? Because she seems to be moving at the same. I don't know. Like I think definitely a large issue was the idea of chi was just very just poorly like explained. That I just didn't know what was happening. Like um, I rewatched parts of it recently for a school project, and I could see moments where they were trying to set up an arc, like when the witch or Donnie Yen's character was telling her like, oh, like lying to yourself and denying your true self like poisons your chi. But I was like, she seems to be doing fine on her own as is. Like I don't know. I think that's really the first sticking point for me. Is the concept came out of nowhere and just wasn't explained well.
Yeah, I agree. I think another thing is at the end of the second act, going to the start of the third act, I really don't like the idea that the rest of the like survivors from the avalanche,
Mm-hmm.
they all believe her, right?
Yeah.
I think it would have been more of an arc if only that small group believed her and went with her
Mhm.
to the capital. And then at the very end, it's that realization from the rest of the group that she's just as worthy. She's more worthy than we are.
Right.
I think it would have been more significant then. It doesn't feel earned or significant from Donnie Yen's character's point of view when he just kind of accepts it at the end of the second act.
They were trying to go for a whole I'm Spartacus type scene where they all like rally behind her, but like I don't know. I mean, it made sense for what was his name, Huang Ji, the main
Yeah,
her main friend there. But like, yeah, for Donnie Yen to just be swayed by his troops like that, I was like, you're not a good general if that's if you could be swayed that easily. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
yeah. The other thing, the Phoenix. I did not like the Phoenix at all. Uh, I don't think you need it in the film. I
I
think,
think I think they were going somewhere with it, but it's like the writers forgot like halfway through, and they're like, oh shoot, we gotta like chuck it back in there.
yeah. And it also, to me, it just didn't look good. I
Hmm.
think the visual, however they CG'd it,
Hmm.
just didn't work for me. So that's another thing with the film.
Right.
Uh, I do like the first act. I like the conflict between the parents and Mulan. I think that's when this film is at its best.
Hmm.
Is that first act and that part of it? But the, I think there's an ability of between making something like mystical and making her like show that she has this promise
Yeah.
of talent, than having her like toss up a spear and then be able to midair like kick it to the ground and
Yeah.
like
Again, like, what is she? What is like okay, like she is was also used as a plot device in Iron Fist, and at least in Iron Fist they visualized as inconsistent as the writing in that show was. At least they maintained she like makes his hand glow. Like they established that, but with Mulan, I just never understood like what makes her so special, especially since once you add in the witch characters, played by Gong Li, like here she is like shape shifting and like
yeah.
flying around. It's like kind of like wait, what's the like power scale here?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that character. The minute she comes on screen, you know her arc.
Hmm.
You're like, oh, I know how this is going to end. It's going to be a redemption arc. And
Yeah,
how do you redeem yourself from being like this terrible person who kills people? Oh, you sacrifice yourself. It's like, of course it's going to happen like that.
I think I think they were like I think the writer's intent was like you know the writer's intent was obviously to like use her as a mirror to Milan, but I think they definitely started hitting over like oh like you know she's like still under the control of a man or whatever. I think they started hitting that like a little too hard on the nose because like after the first conversation with the bad guy, Bori Khan, like you understand what's happening. Like you said, you understand where she's what's gonna happen with her. But then they have like three more conversations with each other between Bori
Mm-hmm.
Khan and Gong Li, and it's the same like conversation. Like after that meeting where like Bori Khan has all the other like Huns and he's like, yeah, don't worry, she's like under my control. And there's like another discussion. I was like, we've seen this played out like literally 20 minutes ago or something.
Right. Yeah.
I
It,
yeah, there you go. You go.
yeah. I think that plays also to another part of it is in the script writing, the storytelling is repetitive scenes.
Mhm.
If you've already been told something, the audience, I think you have to assume the audience is smart enough that they don't need to be told again. And while I understand you're writing a movie and this movie's primarily made for kids,
Mhm.
uh, kids are smart. And if they like the movie visually, they'll watch it again.
Right.
And they'll start to get those themes and kind of understand what's going on the second or the third time.
Yeah. Um, my personal preference, I would have preferred if Gong Li's character just like turned on everyone and like just tried to like just try and like attack like just try and kill everyone. Just because one, I think that would have been a much more visually like impressive sequence. Like just Mulan like going up against like the magic and like the Huns are scattering too. And I just think like at the very least too, it just made her character much more like interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like especially like because I think on the scene when Mulan is like bursts into the throne room and she's like, "There's still a place for us." If Gong Li's character had like rejected her, or like rejected her, and just like got like just pissed off, and, like just like said screw all of this. Like I don't know. I think because by that point in the film, when she goes to fight Bori Khan, I was like, okay, we're just checking off boxes here. You know, we have to go kill the villain. We have to go like you know.
Right. Yeah, it almost feels like levels in a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think there's something to say about how that the fight scene and the choreography
Yeah.
to me was lacking in the third act. The second act fight scene I don't think is bad with the avalanche.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's actually shot pretty well and it's pretty clear what's going on. But in the
Mm-hmm.
third act, the capital, there's one establishing shot, and then the geography of where things are going on is just so confusing.
Yeah, like you know that scene in the hall, like not a hallway, but like sort of a hallway, and she's like, Shi tells Mulan to like go on, like you know, he's like, we'll stay behind. Like that's the only part I can remember where I was like clearly like, okay, I know where you guys are at least, like, and I just wasn't sure what was happening in like the rest of the city, basically.
Right, right.
Um,
It's supposed to be this massive war that's going on,
mhm.
and you see like 10 people.
I think also too is like when Donnie Yen's character is like, I think we'll go with you now. I'm real. I don't think they ever really clearly established did they send everyone or did they send a small squadron? Because
Right.
either way, neither one is ever explicitly like shown. So it's just kind of like it's kind of like okay, we're just
Right.
rolling with it, I guess.
Yeah, and I think the final battle between gosh, what's the antagonist name?
Boricon.
Bori Khan and Mulan is just like I think some of the shots are cool, but I think it's one of those things where the shots are cool, but the scene itself doesn't come off the same way that the shots do.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff of her like flipping from like vertically from one level to
Yeah.
another level,
Mhm.
uh, and kind of having it being like a climbing course while fighting. I
Mhm.
think that idea is cool. I think the set piece of the rope
Yeah.
hanging over was always like you knew that was going to be the end,
Mhm.
and her doing the little kick thing, it just like that one like kick move with the sword just
Mhm.
kills me. It just bothers me so much.
And yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'll be fair to the movie. I actually like enjoyed the final fight. I actually like generally like I thought it was fun. What bothered me was the moment when like she loses her father's sword, and then like the emperor gives her like a pep talk, and then she like channels her chi and she defeats him. But again, as we've been saying, the chi is so like poorly explained. I'm like, so you could have. I got the assumption. I was like, oh, you could have just done this 5 minutes ago or something like.
Right.
And for the I mean, I don't know. I thought it was cool when the Emperor caught the arrow. I thought like I thought that was an all right move.
I like that
Yeah.
because it wasn't overused,
Mhm.
and so that full circle moment really pays off.
Yeah.
Whereas other stuff doesn't necessarily do that.
Mhm.
Um, but let's go into the cinematography real quick. I don't want to
Yeah.
forget that
Mhm.
because some of the landscapes in the show or in the movie are pretty amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Production design looks pretty good, I gotta say.
Yeah, uh, especially some of the night scenes.
Mhm.
Uh, the one between her and then one of her,
In the pool or the lake.
yeah, the
Yeah.
lake, the lake.
Yeah, with Hongji. Yeah.
Yeah, that's shot really well. Just straight up cinematography, lighting, all that looks great.
Mhm.
And the landscapes in general, the whole avalanche thing, the way they play that out is really cool.
Mhm.
And that it just like looks fantastic.
Right.
And then when the avalanche is coming down, and she's racing on the horse to get her friend and pick
Mhm.
him out of the snow.
Yeah.
That stuff is all awesome. I really love all that stuff.
Also, that scene where like she like right after she gets like kicked out of the army and she's like there's a scene where she's kind of like the sun's like it's in like it's like setting and like she's kind of like emotional. It's right before like Gong Li's character comes back and like
Yeah,
offers to join her. Like that shot too. I think like that was like looked really well.
yeah, I agree. That's a really good point. Um, but overall, what are
Yeah, I
your
saw. Sorry, I just wanted to ask first. What did you think of the actress? Of what did you think of how she portrayed like act well, her and everyone else acting wise?
I thought it was solid. I didn't think she was one of the better like Disney live action castings,
Mm,
but I thought she was good in scenes, but I have a hard time figuring out whether it's her as an actress that's not like she's solid but not great, or it's the script itself that doesn't give her those opportunities. So
mm,
that's kind of where I struggle in figuring it out. I see there are moments though where I think she's really great.
mm,
So I tend to believe that it was more of a just how the film came out than
right.
anything.
Okay. Got you.
What,
I thought she was all right. I thought like as the film center, she didn't do a bad job like holding it all together.
yeah. The other thing is, if this movie was shown in theaters, I may have had a completely different experience.
That's fair. Yeah.
Um, as good as a home theater can kind of be, whatever you make it,
Mm,
however you can make it, it's
yeah.
nothing like seeing it on the big screen.
Right. 100%.
But we'll wrap this up with our rankings. And now we've decided not to do number rankings because those can get so confusing in the comparisons. So we're going to give you an idea of where it is on our list of 2020 films.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, Nick, why don't you start first and give us the spot it belongs for you?
I'll admit it's in flux right now, just because I'm like things are kind of like bouncing all over. I felt strongly with other things, and you also have to. I guess I should mention also like I am the biggest fan of of the animated film. I think it's one of the Disney's best animated films. I think she's Disney's best princess. So I think kind of what happened with Tenet, like I was holding it to such like high standards, and I'm so excited, and so I feel like I might have judged it maybe a little more than I did other films. I will say though, it's I'll tell you this because it's like I said, it's in flux right now. It's in between the Bill and Ted movie, Bill and Ted Face the Music, and Sam Hargrave's Extraction.
Mm-hmm.
That's like in the back half of my list, sort of, just because the script was I don't know, the script was all right. I think Liu Yifel, barring her controversial statements about the Hong Kong police, I think she did a fine job. I think the film looked great, and I mean, like, I think it's watchable. Like, I think people who are saying this is the worst live action Disney remake are wrong. I still think John Favreau's Lion King from 2019 was worse. So I mean it's an enjoyable time. Not worth the $30, and not one of the best films I've seen this year. But I mean it's it's watchable. So I'll probably closer to the end of the year when we do inevitably do our 2020 rank. I'll give you more solid space. But right now, that's in the back half. I would say in between Extraction and Bill and Ted.
Yeah, I agree. I have it at number 10 right now,
Mhm.
but it could go to as low as 15.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to get. I have the old guard at 9, and I don't think it's going to go above the old guard.
Okay.
So I think 10 to 15 is kind of the range. 10's where it's at now, but
Hmm.
I think with a lot of movies, the longer you think about it, it's kind of how does it last? So I think it has that capability of going down and falling behind films like
Hmm.
The Outpost, and I think it probably will end up falling behind The Outpost later on. Bad Boys for Life, The King of Staten Island, and Extraction, and The Way Back, which are all films that I like because I enjoy a lot of Mulan.
Yeah.
But I think, and we sound pretty negative, but there are a lot of positives
Yeah.
from Mulan.
Like we said, it's watchable. Like it's a like you'll have a good time. I think you
Yeah,
know.
definitely. And if you have Disney Plus in December and it becomes available, I would 100% recommend you watching it.
Yeah. Very true. Very true. But
And
yeah.
yeah, and with that, that's our review of Mulan, the live action version. Uh, don't pay the $30 unless you really want to. You want to see it for yourself, which I always encourage. This is our opinion, but always watch the movie for yourself and come up with your own opinions on the film. Don't be that Twitter troll on the internet who doesn't see a film and then just writes stupid stuff about it and hates on
Don't
it.
be that guy.
Don't
Don't
be
be
that
that guy.
person. But anyways, if you like the video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Did you agree with our thoughts on Mulan? Did you not? We'll see you next time. Bye bye.
Yep.